Hey guys, here we are for another edition of the Gasp Better Bodies podcast, coming at you loud, live, and nationwide from Conroe, Texas. We got the same crew as before with a couple of new additions. These gentlemen to my right need no introduction. The man at the end of the table, you know him, is the world's strongest bodybuilder, Johnnie Jackson.
Man,
what's up, brother?
You look pretty relaxed here. Like, Is this the same Branch Warren I've known for all these years? I don't think I ever seen you this relaxed.
A little bit of Tennessee whiskey fucking brings it out of him.
Now, you see me like this, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
That's exactly what we're going to talk about.
That's for another podcast.
That's for another podcast. Ain't this motherfucker?
Yeah, we're gonna bring it out.
So we also have another addition down to the table next to Johnnie, Tina Chandler, IBB Pro. So of course everybody knows Jose, the Irishman.
He asked me if I was Irish earlier, and I think he was serious.
Of course, the man responsible for all this craziness,
Yeah,
Michael Johansson.
yeah. Just shoot me after this.
And the mouth of bodybuilding, none other than IBB Pro, Gasp.
There he is.
Yeah.
Live and in color.
So we just had the Tampa Pro this past weekend.
Yep.
Jordan Hutcherson just got his first pro victory. So
Our boy.
Yeah, man.
So I predicted
awesome.
that. I saw saw pictures of him on Monday or Tuesday, and I predicted right then he's going to win. I did another podcast, and I made my prediction he was going to win, and he fulfilled that prediction. And I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say he's going to win again this Saturday at the Texas Pro.
That's awesome.
He's put on several pounds of lean muscle this year, best condition I've seen him in. And he still hasn't reached his full potential. He's young. I don't think he's 30 years old yet. So his best days are definitely ahead of him.
Jesus, yeah. It was a really big shocker to me. I really hadn't seen his improvements because I really hadn't, been up at Destination to see him work out and all this kind of stuff or see him pose. So the last time I saw him was last year. And I saw, the pictures from Tampa, and I was like, oh my God, is this the same guy? I mean, I've seen the grind, I've seen his seriousness, through the seminars and all the meetups and stuff, the Gasp meetups. I've talked to him and seen him, and I know he's a grinder, but wow, how impressive is that physique?
And he's a humble kid, too.
Yeah.
Very humble.
Absolutely.
I got to spend some time with him last year and over in UK, and we went to Sweden. I got to spend a lot of time with him, and he's a hard-working kid. He's hungry, he's dedicated, and he puts the work in. And that's all it takes. There ain't no magic formulas. It's called hard work, discipline, and just grinding. And,
Yeah, it shows.
The kid moved from North Carolina down to Texas to be, because he could train at Destination and be around all of us and Gasp and Better Bodies and that environment down in Texas. And, because he said there wasn't much of an environment, bodybuilding environment where he was from. So he moved halfway across the country, just for bodybuilding. So, after talking to him, there is no plan B. It's make or break it, and that's the kind of guys that make it in the sport.
Straight.
Yeah.
100%.
I just want to say that I talked to him after the win here, and I felt like from the first time I met him and we had our first talks, and certain stuff that we had in common and we talked about, and I felt like he's been delivering on those things all the time. And it's very seldom you come across someone, because a lot of people they talk about their ambitions, but very few actually have the application to those thoughts the way you need to have.
Absolutely.
So I feel like he took our travels and our we gave him challenges, and he reciprocates, and he comes back stronger, and he's very positive about the whole journey and everything, and I really like that he, training hard with Justin, and they feel like they've been really feeding off each other at Destination.
It has. He's got a great training partner, and I know from experience that makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
You have a good training partner. And the second thing I noticed was, after getting second at the Texas Pro, some people would get down, they get disappointed. It made him hungrier. Yeah. He kind of got pissed, got hungrier, and he's like, he got a taste of it, and he's like, I'm gonna win this thing. And he came back and he did it.
Sometimes taking that L is the best thing that could happen to you.
Yeah, I learned more from my defeats than I ever did from my victories. Because when you win, you did it right. But when you lose, you look at yourself, okay, what could I have done better? What do I need to do to win so this doesn't happen again? And I learned more from my defeats than I ever did from my victories.
And I have to say, I met his significant other only a couple times, but you can see the support, within them too.
Yeah, Brittany supports him 100%.
Yeah.
She's 100% in his court, in his corner, and she's there to support him, and that makes a world difference.
Yeah, so important.
I said it actually when I won a contest one time, a little speech on stage. People think bodybuilding's an individual sport. It's a team sport. And I compared it to a NASCAR driver. The NASCAR driver, everybody knows his name, right? He gets all the glory and the fame and all that because he gets across the finish line first. But without his pit crew, he never makes it. He never finishes the race.
That's right.
Never makes it out of the pit.
That's right. That's right. So, and the pit crew are the unsung heroes. And, the wives, the girlfriends, the trainers, the training partners, that's the pit crew. And the coaches, that's what keeps these guys going so they can be their best. They support them so they can go on that stage and achieve their dreams.
Guess it's like what we talked about earlier, who you surround yourself with is how you end up.
Yeah, exactly. And when we were catching up earlier today, I told him kind of feels a little bit like a Branch and Johnnie situation with you and Justin.
No, that ain't that good.
And no, but he and then he just answered very serious back and said, you're not the first one saying that. We heard it all the time here now. So the real people can feel it. People can feel the energy, when they are getting after it, and they feel like it's going down, and they're doing it the proper way.
Yeah, I think that's a great compliment. A really great compliment coming from a guy such as he, and the physique that he's building. Yeah, for sure.
I called him and congratulated him after he won, and we talked for a few minutes, and he said, man, a lot of people compare me to you. You're graininess and this and that or something. Mm-hmm. And I said, man, take it and do better. Take that and do better. Be better. And so he's on his way. That was the first big step. That first one you never forget.
Yep.
Because when in that first show, it takes you a decade or longer of work and training to get to that point to win that first pro show. And now once you do it, then it gives you the confidence of you know what? I can stand next to these guys and I can win.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because in all sports and in everything, it's like where your mind is going is also where your body is going, and it doesn't matter if it's like bodybuilding or motocross or whatever it is.
Yeah, I know. We were talking earlier in the van. We were on our way up here, Jose, and we were talking about wins and stuff like that, and. You winning the Nationals and Guy getting second place behind you.
Yeah. You just got to keep bringing that up, huh?
He graced
Just keep bringing that the fuck up.
He graced the stage.
We had a good time in the van.
You lost to fucking me.
But
You can tell your friends.
Could you imagine you lost to Jose?
I wish this for Justin as well. Just as you hold that a win, and you really enjoy. You can tell you enjoyed it, and you appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
And I hope he. Take a, step back, and I know he's doing the Texas Pro, but hopefully you take a step back and really enjoy this win because they're really rare, and you have to really be conscious when you do it to appreciate it, because if you don't, then it seemed like it never happened.
I had that exact conversation with him when I talked to him, and yesterday, I believe, and I said, man, I hope you can take this in. You probably won't because you're already focused on Texas. He's like, bro, he goes, I went out and celebrated that night. And he goes, I woke up the next morning, all I could think about is Texas. I'm like, I did the same thing. It didn't matter what it was. And I go, I never could take it in and enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And I was away from it for 2 years before I could look back and go, damn, shit, I did okay. Yeah. But until then, I would never allow myself to say that. And no matter what it was. And so if he is what I think he is, he won't enjoy it.
Yeah.
He's on to the next one.
No, so Jordan was incredible. And something people don't know is I think he put on 23 pounds of muscle since the last show, since last year.
A year ago, because he was Texas Pro.
Yeah. That's incredible to not only put on that much muscle and improve his conditioning. It's unbelievable.
23 pounds of stage weight.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's not off-season weight, but stage weight. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
But we also talked to him backstage last year because he was super flat at Texas. And I think Chris Tuttle, his nutritionist, started incorporating a little more of dirty food, which I don't think you have to have, but sometimes I think it's a necessity to fill you out and to put weight on.
It depends on the person.
I mean, even when Branch brought him to Sweden for the Swedish show, Branch, you said you were feeding him burgers almost every day, and he gained like 10 pounds. It looked bigger, harder, and better than he did.
We started the trip off in London and UK, and by the time we got to, he guest posed, he'd gained 10 pounds, and he's like, dude, I look better now than I did. I go, you got to eat, bro. I said, you're a big dude. You're a 300-pound man. I said, I'm 50 years old and retired. I'm eating more food than you.
Yeah.
I go, what the fuck?
And he's like 5'11", right?
Yeah,
He's a big boy.
He's a tall dude.
And I go, you got to eat, bro. I go, you got to eat. I
He's
go,
taller than you too.
yeah. And I said, you got to be uncomfortable. I said, to be good at this sport, you got to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's
Off season, you're miserable because you eat so much. Pre-contest, you're miserable because you're fucking so hungry you can't sleep.
Yep.
I go, once you learn to be comfortable with that, now you're ready to be a champion.
Yep.
Well, speaking of uncomfortable, as much as we're loving on Jordan,
Fire ants.
that too. I'll tell that quickly. I got attacked by fire ants earlier. It was
Bloody
brutal.
pussies here. I must
Welcome,
think about
welcome to Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking Irishman.
Next thing, I'm getting bit by a rattlesnake.
Hey, we got those here too.
Well, yeah, I know.
Or a
We'll go
hornet.
find
It
one out there.
wasn't-
We'll go find
yeah.
one in a minute out there.
Try to grow up a little bit.
All right, thank you. All right, speaking of growing up, Quentin Beastwood, as awesome as Jordan was right up his ass. It was really close.
Quentin made big improvements.
Yes.
Best I've seen him. He was bigger
By far.
and harder.
Yep.
He finally came in shape,
Yep.
and he was, the driest I'd seen him. I think the knock on him was his conditioning and, always watery looking, and he dried out, looked incredible. And he, Jordan earned it. He didn't walk away with it.
Yeah.
What would
With
you
him
like
being
to
so
see?
Tall, I never thought he would balance his body out
He's always bottom heavy.
Yes.
His legs were always dominant.
Yes, and that was
So-
crazy to me alone. Yeah, it was like Tony Freeman was like that when he first came
Yep.
out. He was bottom heavy like that.
I
so,
was too. And
yeah.
it took
I
me.
guess
So you just have to. Whatever he did.
we talked
it
about that
worked.
earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, about
We
Rance,
talked
and
for
that's
4
all-
hours.
Yeah, that's all he had to do was balance out, his upper body with his legs, and that was like, there he goes.
The guy that came in third, Joe, was very impressive to me. I think he had probably the best back of the whole lineup, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Joe looked good.
Really
That's
good.
He
Yeah.
made big improvements.
Yep.
He's a big guy.
In a different lineup, he's a last man standing.
And he really wasn't a big name going into this. He really didn't have any hype behind him. Nobody really talking about him. And I think he proved that he can hang with the big boys.
This is only his second show. Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's mostly the lack of maybe shows.
So what
but
do you-
when I saw him the first time, when he came to the Olympia house, and I was like, oh shit, what the hell is that? He was so huge,
Big boy.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we went to LA and training with them, with Paul and Joe, and it was a great time. Great people, great athletes, and great part of the family.
Yeah.
100%. So Tina, what's going on with you?
Everything.
Yeah,
Life is great.
we're gonna see you on stage again.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, not this year.
not this year.
Not this year.
Did you watch the Tampa?
I didn't watch it this
Didn't
year.
watch it?
Mm-mm. I was there last year.
Yeah, I knew you were there. last year.
And I mean, I just have to follow up on Jordan. I mean, coming back into the sport and not knowing a lot of people right offhand, but I knew from the get go his determination, his discipline, his hunger, was so obvious. And we did the Tampa last year together, and I was like, he's about to go. He's about to go straight up. Just you can recognize it, you can see it. It's like the eye of the tiger. You
So-
know?
Where the mind goes.
With
Yeah.
the way Jordan looked on stage this past weekend, God, what do you think his chances are at Olympia?
I think he, at his first Olympia, he could land somewhere between the 6 and 8 slot.
Top 8.
6 to 8, depending upon who shows up.
What does he need to do to crack that top 5?
I think he needs to work a little bit more. He's got very small abs for such a big guy. And if he, controlling his abs and making sure, I think his abs are small. So I think he needs to focus on doing his abs, controlling his midsection, because I know that was a problem at points. But I think if his upper body comes up a little bit and he gets a little more of that, his legs and his glutes and his hamstrings are insane. I think if he brings up
back.
a little bit more back thickness
more detail and thickness. Yep,
yes.
yep.
I think that's where he's losing it a little bit. But he's very complete for such a big guy. I think a little more polish to that vehicle, a little more mass in the right places. I mean, he can hang with I would say 95% of the guys right now in the sport.
I think it's with what I saw on stage this past weekend. I think he's a top 10.
Yeah,
Sure.
So yeah,
And then it just depends who's he standing next to and how's everybody look. 'Cause all these predictions aren't worth fucking
like
shit.
do you think he could beat William Bonac? So, and William Bonac is usually up there in the
But it
top of
depends
the crew,
on
the
what
first
Williams
call.
shows up.
Yeah,
Because
it's always an
I
if.
think highly of him also, but I think if he gets in the top 10 or 10th, it'll be like a huge win for him.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yes,
he'll
of course.
place in the
If he
top
gets-
10, to be honest, just because of the lineup. It's a deep lineup.
If you can
this
make
year,
the
and
top
these
10
guys,
in your first Olympia, that's a huge victory.
oh my God. Seriously, it is.
I just
I
want to
did
say
that.
that he has a secret weapon in his arsenal.
Gasp shirts.
Of course. No, but I'm thinking about Justin. His
Training
back-
partner.
Yeah, his back is so thick.
Yeah.
When I see his back, I'm like, oh shit, that's some impressive stuff there.
Yeah.
So if they keep on training together and they train back, and they do a little bit what Johnnie and Branch been doing, then
Yeah.
anything
Well,
can
he's
happen.
also his arms. I think his back, but his arms are really weak, and they stand out.
I don't know if they're really weak, but from the front double, they're a lot weaker than his side shots.
I think they're weak from the side.
I don't think they're as weak from the side as they are from his front double. I think they're
I don't
weak,
know.
but I think
both
they're
right.
more weak.
Said you're both right.
Yeah, I agree to disagree with you, and I think that he still got parts that he has to bring up that guys are going to show up at the Olympia enough times to have worked on
Yeah.
it, and you know what I mean.
course.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, it's all who you stand next to, because you can see guys, and I'm not just talking about Jordan, I'm talking about anybody in general. You can win a show and look magnificent, but then you get to that big stage,
Yeah.
and your weaknesses are going to become very apparent because
Yeah.
you know stand next to the best on the
Absolutely.
planet,
Yep.
and you're like, man, that dude looked awesome last week. He don't look good this week. Well, no, he does. He just wasn't standing next to these guys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
But that's why I feel like training back with Justin will bring his back up, and then you move on, and then you take the next body part from someone else, and then you keep on going like that, and then you become complete.
Yep.
So that's
It's all
you
in-
have to
in-
measure with the best of the best.
Some of these issues are when you're talking about the arms are like posing issues. I feel like Jordan is holding his
I don't
arms
think it was
full
a
Yes.
posing issue. I
as
think
opposed
it's
to
just a
opening
time.
back.
I think it's just a timing
Yeah,
issue.
he's-
That's it.
he's
It's
still
just a
young,
matter.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm being like reality, seeing, and it's his first time and what he's presenting, and not over boasting, but not taking away from him either.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. This guy's going to be magnificent, but right now, with the guys that are qualifying for Olympia, you know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, it'll be great if he's in that top 10.
for last year was the first time in years we had a lot of depth back in the open class.
Yeah.
And we went through a period of time, there was no depth. You had 2 or 3 guys at the top that were in shape, and the rest of the guys didn't look good.
Yeah.
And now we finally have some depth. Those top 5, 6 spots, these dudes are good again.
Yes.
They're in shape, and they look good. And so now it's it's getting back to very competitive.
Yeah.
How about a name like Rafael Brandao? Is he doing the Olympia?
I think he's got to get much bigger to hang with these guys.
What I'm saying is, could Rafael stand with Jordan?
I like Raph a lot, but I think Jordan's a lot more dense, thicker, and grainier than Raph.
And until they stand next to each other,
It's hard to
how
tell.
can you really judge that?
Speaking of backs, did you guys see Keon's new update with his back? We were talking about it before. He's got one of the craziest backs, I think, not just in 212, in all of bodybuilding right now.
Keon's got the best physique I've seen since Flex Wheeler.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Seriously.
amazing. I
He's
just
so
look at this
good.
thing, it's just
Crazy.
so pleasing to look at.
It's not an
Yeah.
exaggeration
No.
either.
Yeah,
I'm
it's good.
shocked, man. I didn't think. I mean, he always looked good, but not like this. I mean, I had no idea he would hold his shape, like he has.
He's got
getting
12
that
pounds to go.
size.
He's got team gain another 10, 12 pounds.
Jesus.
And
And
he's
that-
what, 28, something like that?
The young buck. He's got
He's young, but he got another 7 years to
lifetime.
grow. He ain't hit his potential. He ain't got the muscle
He's
maturity
just
yet that
starting.
he's going to get in his 30s.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So
And also like it's like you don't need to think about him as a 212 anymore. You can might as well think as as open here.
you think he can go open?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean very soon here.
Joe wasn't
Yeah.
third. I'm sorry. John Jewett was third. Joe was
Joe
fourth.
was fourth.
Was he?
Joe was fourth.
Yes.
Joe was third.
Is that?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm having my assistant check.
Fucking getting old, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking that's the first thing goes to your mind.
fucking
Memory.
Get
gray
the new
hair.
memory
Yeah.
chip.
Should
Memory
cut
and
that
shit.
shit off before you.
Mark, am I right or am I wrong?
Hey, it's called Wastings.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
Wastings fucked you up.
Listen, I got a text message that said Joe was fourth, Jew was third.
Wasting to the head, bro.
Shit.
I got stung in the wrong spot.
So back to
Are
Keon.
you going to bring up the story about your weenie getting a...
No.
It's up now. You,
They all-
you can't just mention
anybody
it. And
that
then not
knows
talk
me
about
knows
it.
I got-
Just made a left turn, folks.
I got stung in the baby maker.
So explain to us how. All right, for y'all don't know this, my man calls me. He's like, "Bro, you ain't gonna believe this shit." I'm like, "No, with you, I will." And, he says, "I got stung on my dick by a wasp." How does this happen? I mean, you like squat down, your shit like dangling around.
I've never had a complaint, but
Walking outside butt ass naked.
I was in a squat position,
I
water
think
in my.
you misinterpreted the flower and the bees and all that stuff.
I didn't misinterpret shit. I think the bee misinterpreted it, what it was.
He had Gasp basketball shorts.
The bee thought it was a dandelion.
Why the hell are you in their territory dangling with your dick?
It was first of all, it was a hornet, not a wasp, and the fucking thing had one of those
That
little
shit out there.
those little mud nests in the
That
ground.
shit out there, you never know.
Oh, is one a ground hornet?
Yeah.
He was a mud hornet.
Yes.
Bro, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. See?
That's even worse.
Yeah, I know it's them are bad.
Yeah, because they bury themselves in the
I've seen them
ground.
things in my ranch.
Yeah.
They're called
huge.
tarantulas. They
Was
pick them
the
up,
hornet
off.
challenge you?
Yes.
Oh, let's go.
Hey,
Was it a
They're
challenge
huge.
between you and the hornet in size?
You're not supposed to put your bean in the
mud.
In the mud.
Hey, listen, my tomato plants turn me on.
It just fell in the mud.
Remind me to never have your tomatoes. That ketchup you can keep.
They
for
asked me how
yourself.
my garden grows so fast. I'm like, I got a little trick. Got a little trick in that soil.
Putting Cialis in his
Son of a
soil.
bitch.
Oh my God.
Oh, you never know.
Yeah, it was a rough day.
Yeah.
Gas podcast. You never know what
Oh,
you're going to
hey.
get.
Yeah.
Let's make some predictions for this week. Texas Pro.
Jordan first.
Yeah.
Jordan first.
Jordan first.
Who else is doing it? Quentin's doing it again.
Yep.
Who's doing it? Joe, he's doing it, right?
Yep.
Joe's doing it. I'm assuming John Jewis doing it.
I thought Andrew was doing it also.
No.
Hunter's out. Andrew's out. Unless the list has changed, there's been some new additions to it. Jordan is in the driver's seat. Now, that's, like I said, these predictions aren't worth.
I think
Now, I don't know, man, because that speech Quentin gave at the end there, with the tears and all that stuff, he might have been, pushing for Texas. That
But do
is
you
ass.
think Joe can be up there since now he has, made
100%.
I do.
More of a name
This is
for
the
it?
deal. Somebody's going to look better. Somebody's going to look worse.
Yep.
It's always like that. Not everybody's going to get better.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to be off, and somebody's going to get better.
Yep.
And so it's always like that. And, that being said, all Jordan's got to do is just don't do nothing stupid.
Yep.
And he wins.
Coast in.
Quentin, if he improves, draws out a little more, it's going to be a battle.
Yeah.
it'd be trouble.
Yeah, I mean, could he win? Absolutely, he could win. He could beat him, but he's got to get harder. All Jordan's got to do is just hold.
Yeah.
So
If, Chris and Jordan and what they are doing, that for me feels very stable. It doesn't feel like it's gonna go off the rails and be.
Jordan is
weird.
grounded. He's got a good wife.
Yeah.
He's grounded. He's focused, and that's how you get to the top, man. Because if you have all this nonsense going on in the background, then you can't
Too
be
much
focused.
noise.
Yeah. So
But do you think since Jordan's already qualified, and if it's as close as it was last week, or maybe even closer, they go with Quentin because he's not qualified?
There's 20-something guys qualified already for the O, so I don't think they're looking to get
they're
new
going to pick
faces.
But
the
I
it's
don't
a-
think they
they'll
give
pick
a
the best
shit.
guy.
Quentin's growing fan base every minute.
So is Jordan.
Yeah. But I'm not going to get off this subject, but I still would like to know, and I'm sure everybody else watching would like to know, give them an idea. We'll start with Jose on how you felt. Your first win, what was your first win and how you felt? And
How many times did you win the Nationals and give your pro card back?
4.
4.
Four times he won the
crazy.
Nationals. 4 times. And this guy kept giving his pro card back because they didn't have a 202, which eventually became the 212. And he was a lightweight. So he's like, well, there's no point going pro. So he just wouldn't take it and go back and do it again and win.
Yeah.
you know how many guys didn't do that?
Oh,
That
yeah.
was lightweight and just turned pro and thought, I'm going to go. There was a little Asian guy that turned pro when we did in 2001. And he competed I mean,
he never got call out, bro. He never got call out.
I mean, he was at every
That poor
freaking
bastard,
show.
He trained and died. He showed up and went, and they wouldn't even
what are you doing?
And went,
Look at that roach on the stage. Sweep that roach off the stage.
Motherfucker looked like an asparagus on steroids.
That was a topic I wanted to touch on. Why does everyone care about a pro card? Why don't you concentrate on looking like a pro? You know what I mean? Like all these guys that are getting pro cards, whether they're lightweights, welterweights, even middleweights, whatever.
Well, it's that dream of money. They think they're good.
They're going to wake up the next day with $1 million.
A pile of money going to drop in your lap, and you're going to you know what I mean? Oh my God!
But I think that's the wrong.
Absolutely, it's always been.
Yeah.
If you're in this sport for money,
yes,
you're sadly mistaken.
Hey, the only guys in this entire sport, all divisions, that make any money are the top 6 open Olympia guys.
Yep.
That's it. Maybe the classic bodybuilder, can do well. A couple of them. That's it. I mean, these bikini girls, I'm going to turn pro, make all this money. Bitch, you ain't got no money now. You ain't got no money when you win. And Ashley has won more shows than any athlete in history, any division.
Yep.
Can't make shit.
Nope.
Yep.
That's just the way it is. And it ain't fair,
Nope.
but that's just the reality of
Would you take your pro card if you got second? Because they give second place pro cards at nationals.
I didn't take it when I won.
Most people, I know.
Took it when you beat me.
Would. Most people
when
would
they came out
just to have that IFBB in front of their names.
when they came out that point bullshit, which was the worst idea ever, in my opinion, I'm like, I ain't going to Olympia. If I can't win a show, I ain't going to Olympia.
Yeah.
I'm like, I win a show, I'm going to go to Olympia.
Yeah.
Plain simple.
Did any of us ever go to the Olympia on points?
Yeah, I did both.
I did.
I did.
I won a show and
did.
had the most points. So
Oh, well,
I did
you
both.
won a show, though.
What? Yeah, but
I didn't even
did
understand how
both.
the shit worked. All I knew was you win, you're in.
Yeah, I didn't either. I mean, it happened, and I got there 4 times. But I tell a lot of people, in the beginning, when I did bodybuilding, there was only figure and fitness. You had to win your
Same with me.
novice division before you could go into an open category. Then you had to win that category before you could go to nationals.
Yep.
You couldn't just compete and then just compete in all of them and then just try them all out like they can do now.
Yeah.
If
And
you
then
think
just-
you look good enough,
There's people,
in
how many
novice, you can
people do
open
2
too.
shows and go pro?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
that's what I'm saying.
And they
we had to earn our way up.
Yeah,
you know?
it took years.
You can
Yeah.
turn pro now without ever winning a show.
Ben Peklowski.
We need to have some young bucks at this podcast also. Someone that we can kind of
Pick on.
pick on. For
Make an example out of.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear their
perspective.
their
Yeah.
perspective.
Hey, I'm
on
gonna
it.
give you an example.
That's what I mean,
What you said, guy.
I agree.
Ben Peklowski. He's talking all shit when you're at the,
I
at the press
remember,
conference, and and I'm like, bro, he talked all this nonsense, and I said, well, it don't matter anyway because you ain't gonna beat nobody anyway. And I told him, I was at the press conference, and I said, hey, check this out, guys. Y'all don't know this. He never won a show. This motherfucker got second at some provincial thing. Went to Canadian Nationals, got second, turned pro, and got to Olympia on points. Never won a damn show when you're at the Olympia. And he back there talking all this shit like you the fucking next coming of Ronnie Coleman. Man, look, where's my ball sack? I'm sorry, if you go to Olympia and you can't win a pro show, you probably don't belong being there.
You're probably not going to go to the Olympia if you can't win a show.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. After about the top 10, it don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't affect ticket sales. It don't matter. And I that's for all divisions. And there's 37 people in your division, and you go and get 20th. I mean, why don't you go back to the gym, fix what need to be fixed, come back and win a show and go to Olympia and be competitive.
Yeah.
So that's just my take. Obviously, not everybody feels that way, but we came from a different school.
Yeah.
So I had a talk with J.M. Mannion at the Masters Nationals, and he made it evident to me. He's like, if you guys on these podcasts talking so much shit, he was really intense. It was funny. He's like, if you have a question, you call me, or you call Tyler. Call us. Don't just talk shit like you know what you're talking about. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. When I was competing, the top 10 in the 212 did not get paid.
No. Top 6, it was it.
If you were lucky.
Yeah.
Some years it was just top 3. That was it.
Or top 5, yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like you all are very successful and everything, and And I feel like everybody is entitled to their own dream, and you never know who's coming back and do something. And of course, we can talk about those who maybe didn't want anything and didn't come back. But
I was referring more to
I just want
56 people showing up in a class.
Yeah, and of
Oh,
course.
remember that
But
night of champions?
But I just mean that you have you become like an Olympian, and then your career or whatever you are trying to do, starts. Maybe 1 out of 1,000 succeeds, and that's worth everything,
If you win a pro show, then you're good.
Winning a pro show is not easy.
Of
This
course.
shit, no. It
Any
took me
class.
5 years.
Yeah.
5 years till I won my first
Yeah.
pro show.
But that's what I
that
mean.
was-
Like,
Learn that shit.
Man, grinding,
Mhm.
grinding,
Yeah.
grinding.
it's just that they put that on the next level with their point system or with other stuff like that. So that's kind of like happening today, but on a different level, So I think that's the difference versus the past. So I think like everybody is entitled to their own dream,
Yeah.
But so that's my take on it.
It's great, but you shouldn't lessen the rules to accommodate people's
Accommodate the
dreams.
experience.
Exactly.
Right.
This
Like,
is
it
the-
still
we're
should
talking-
be held to the highest level.
Competitive.
Because
Yeah.
eventually you're gonna face the best,
Yeah.
and if you're under weaponized,
Yeah.
you're gonna look like an idiot.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Olympia. Only the elite best of the best should be
Best
there.
of the best.
And qualifications should be strict enough to where it's fucking hard to get there. And because, like I said, it makes no difference if you're 37 people in your class, they come to see the top 10.
Yeah.
In some classes, it's not even that; it's the top 5.
Yeah.
And and no disrespect to the other classes, I saw this happen in Tampa when they had the Olympia in Tampa. They had the open guys, the prejudging on Friday night like they always do, and there was like 3 other classes after that finals. It was, I forget, like one of the guy classes and 2 of the female classes. 80% of the crowd got up and walked out after the men open was done.
That's unfortunate, but
that's
true.
it's true, and it's like it sucks, but it's true, and that's what.
Well, that's why they would hold the men until the very last.
Yes, and they
and
made
you'd
a
be there
mistake
till
that year.
2 in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that's why the men have to go both nights, and they put them at the end, and to hold the crowd, and that's just a cold reality of the sport,
Well, that's why they need to shrink it down.
So,
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
agree with that
I agree with
100%. That you should have that going on. But I think like whoever sets up the rules, they have to kind of like
Come up with better ones.
They have to stick. Yeah, well, they do.
It's not the athletes, like their problem. They're just moving up everything higher up,
I did the math where if you cut every division down to 20 a division, that's it. With all the money Jake spends flying out, per diem, hotel, cut out all the rest, there would be somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000 left over to give towards the athletes.
not everybody gets their stuff paid for. Some of those other classes,
That's
if
right.
they don't place
Yeah.
up at the top, they don't get their stuff covered. So,
Is that true?
Yeah,
true.
it's true.
Yeah.
See, there's a lot of this is why JM says call me, and I'll tell you, because I didn't know that. I
and
just
that's another thing
assumed-
too is if you qualify for Olympia, your travel should be paid for, but and that's why they need to tighten it up. So
Who do they
can't do
pick?
that. Well, what happens in those other classes if they place high enough? I'm not certain on this. I have to check with them, but I believe if you place high enough, then you can submit your expenses and they'll cover them.
No way, I got them submitted at check-in.
So, well,
I used to get a envelope of cash.
Well, that's when we
At
were like,
check-in.
when
but
we
I'm
were,
talking about not per diem. I'm talking about your flight, your hotel,
yeah,
they-
all
all that
that,
stuff.
all that was
that
covered.
was taken
Yeah.
care
But
of.
that was
That
when
was a
we were
different
doing
time.
it
That
when
was
it
a
was
different
only
time.
the top 15.
Right.
When we were there, it was the top 15 in the world.
This is good
That's when we were all
conversation.
there. So
And through your
in every
perspective
class.
of like how do you feel, like Brand said, the men open bodybuilding was the premier event. So just through your perspective of getting ready for the show, being there, all that kind of stuff, starving and getting there and knowing that more or less was the fact, how did that feel?
So to be honest with you,
She agreed.
So to be honest with you though, because I did the Tampa so many years and it was the best show that I did every year, and at the Tampa, it was the opposite. when the women were up there, and then when the other, like, it was packed wall to wall. You know, they're always saying, "Oh, women aren't bringing the numbers," and that was bullshit. Like, because we saw it packed, and then when the women's bodybuilders went off, everybody left after that. So that was
Tim
my
does a great
experience.
job
Tim
at
does
promoting.
a great job, and Jake has always been he's been a fan, he's been a great supporter. Then he's getting in a position to do all the things, you know. So my experience now, no, it is not fair. We're paid way less. Yes, it's crapshoot.
Yeah.
It's like,
But I mean, like at the Olympia, when you're like, you know, like I said, the open men is like the highlight, and you guys are preparing, knowing you did just as much as we did to prepare for this show and all this stuff, but it's still a known fact, like the men are a highlight. How did that, was that like?
So knowing that they're the highlight is not really the sting. The sting is like, and it's, you know, it's a freak show. Everybody wants to see the wow. Okay, we get that. That's what this is all about. It's the prize money that's so insulting. It's just so insulting.
Yeah, but it's just also the same for the 212 too.
I know those 212s don't even get their way paid for.
To your point,
Like,
Yeah, we did.
We did.
we did.
Yeah, we did.
well, they're-
We did.
back
you
in the
did?
day,
Okay, it was
I
the
never
wheelchair
paid- I never
division.
paid
It was the
dime
wheelchair
for
division. That's
my own
the Miss
probably what I was
Olympia back in
fighting
the
for.
day was a standalone contest. It was a different day, different venue, and it was packed, sold out, and it was their own thing. And then over time, it changed, and I don't for whatever reason, and they combined everything on one weekend, and it's different, and that's where we are today.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it is-
for a
and
good
to-
reason, Branch.
So you
Because
think,
the men's
so you do you think?
Olympia weekend made a shitload, and the women's didn't.
No, but
So as much
sponsorship
as I
money-
love
Yeah.
female bodybuilding, all the female classes, if you held a men's Olympia weekend and then a women's Olympia weekend, you'll know why the females get paid less.
Yeah.
but I think
And
it's
it
all,
sounds horrific. I'm a misogynist.
No, you
Fuck
got to
you
be
all,
with.
But
it's
I mean,
every sport. Look at the
business.
WBA compared
It
to
is
NBA. It's the
business.
same
Yeah.
So
thing.
yeah,
It's a
is.
reality.
No,
So-
I get that. I've always gotten that.
But I think it's also about promotion. So a little bit what you talked about
Right.
for Tampa and
That's good.
and promoting the women the right way, and focusing on it, and building it up, and building
Right.
characters and building hype.
Yeah.
All of that makes a difference,
Yeah, it
So
does.
if you don't put energy into that, then of course it becomes like second or third tier
Right.
stuff,
Right, the magazines have always put the
Yeah.
energy into it. You know,
Yeah.
Sean, right,
I
and
think
all
it's
them,
like
all
the
the
same
years.
with the
He's a douche.
212 and everything else.
True that.
Let's cover
What is
another
that?
topic.
The
We
bike.
already talked about Texas. Are you guys going to the show?
No.
We will be there.
Yeah.
So, and actually, the Sunday after Texas Pro, we're gonna have a seminar there. We're inviting all the 212 guys, actually, and putting on a seminar. Of course, I'll be there. Johnnie will be there. A couple other people, but we're gonna that seminar. We're gonna showcase the 212 division because Michael supports the 212 division, and Gasp Better Bodies has been very good at picking these young guys. Like Derek Lunsford, Keon, Sean Clarita. You guys back in the day.
Make
And,
sure you invite Kareth, even
yeah.
though he's doing the open at this show.
So
He is a
Baggio?
212.
So
Yeah.
we've
Really?
been very good at picking these 212 guys when they were young, amateurs, and moving to the top
Trying
ranks of the
to
sport.
do something for the upcoming athletes, and I think that's a little bit like everybody can do something, for the women or for whatever it is, pick our cause and go for it, So I think for us it's been very important to give the upcoming athletes a little bit of space to shine, and help people on the way up.
I think that's very important. I think because the cold reality of it, if you want to be a successful athlete, I'm gonna say bodybuilder. It doesn't matter what division you're doing. We're all bodybuilders, bikini, open, whatever. You got to have the financial support to enable you to have the time to train, because it involves your whole life getting ready for a pro show. And if you don't have the financial support to do that, then it's probably not. You're never going to be your best. And thank God there's still people like Michael who loves bodybuilders and loves bodybuilding, and still supports these men and women and lets them give them opportunity to live their dream. Same thing with our generation. I just got that Muscle Tech contract, and for the first time I was like, actually
Making money.
and now I can devote more of my time to being a bodybuilder and achieving my potential. And so I think that's one of the reasons, like Jordan Hutcherson, he's got that financial support, so he can focus more. He don't have to work a 9 to 5 and work his everything else around that. he can actually be a bodybuilder, live as a bodybuilder,
Yeah.
and that's why he's
That's the
rising up.
dream.
That's why.
That's
And
the
also for
dream.
those who are listening, that even if Jordan gets some financial support from us, the platform that he can stand on and work with when it comes to, it's worth a lot more.
Absolutely.
And many athletes, they get a little bit like, where is the money, but they don't know how to bring the money out.
Where is the money? It's more like, where's the work? Then
Yeah.
the money will come.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and so that's a little bit the trick, and that's the trick for any division and any athlete to find their groove. So it takes two to tango, and but we are trying to do everything we can to help as many athletes as possible, and not just a single few.
Yeah, I'm grateful for it because that was one of the meaningful things that I remember in my journey that really, switched my mind, my way of thinking from, I need to get a sponsorship and somebody need to give me some money to, I need to bust my ass,
Yeah.
and help fill this pot if I want to make something.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that shocks me is you have all these athletes they'll turn pro or, maybe, have a good off season, look good, and they're looking for sponsorships without having the accolades. And, the thing that always blew my mind is you want to come to the table with your hand out, but what have you proved to get that money? I remember when I first joined up with Gasp, my first contract with Gasp and Better Bodies was, here's some clothes, support the brand, and we'll go from there. And I think that's how, when you're an up and comer, I don't think until you actually compete as a pro and see what you're capable of, I don't see the reason why these athletes are getting money. I think you need to prove yourself. I think a lot of these contracts are good to start off with ambassadorships. If you see our ambassador platform, we have over 20,000 ambassadors across the entire U.S. and all different countries around the world. So, and then obviously some of those tier athletes are tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, depending upon what they've accomplished in their sport. But
and also not only the trophies, but how do you involve yourself?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And how do you make sure that you become like two that does the tango together? Because a lot of we know that from work life and workspaces in general, that there is a lot of people who doesn't know how to participate in what's going on and really understand what it takes to put food on the table.
Yeah.
So, but if you understand what it takes to put food on the table, a little bit like Jordan, I feel like he's a very good example on the new breed coming up. That kind of like from the first day I met him, just delivered and kept on delivering and opened up more door for himself together with us. And there is a bunch of a lot of athletes that don't really understand what it takes to be a professional.
Yeah.
They think professional is
there's a title.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't understand that professional means that you work in all aspects of life. You create value for yourself and your surrounding. You make connection and you understand your surrounding.
I think what a lot of people misinterpret is that they forget that bodybuilding, although it's a sport, it's also a business. And if you don't know how to turn it into a business and pivot and make money,
You got to be professional.
you have to.
But I think when we say business, a lot of people who are listening, they think that business is about, buy, sell.
Yes.
Taking care of business is like, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, represent yourself, be a leader for yourself and for others. It's like being professional in all aspects of life.
Yeah.
And, you actually see stuff and do stuff that, not so many people can do,
Yeah.
So that's being professional.
Yeah, it's the next level of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna
It's
go
like
around.
getting told what to do,
Yeah.
and then professional, you don't have to
Just
be
do
told.
it.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you're doing it,
Yeah.
and your boss is
And
going,
that's-
"Holy shit,
Yeah.
this guy is going
And
to
that's
take over."
And that's why I said tango here a couple of times, but that's when the tango goes so easy together, like because you dance in a synchron in a synchron way, you know.
I'm gonna go around. I want to ask everybody individually. I'm gonna start with Tina over there. What was your most memorable moment of your career?
I would say
Sit next to me tonight. Yeah,
Talking to the mic.
I'll be raw. Like as soon as you ask me that question, you know how we were talking about loses are sometimes more powerful than the wins.
Yes.
So it was, I don't remember Tampa or Chicago. I'm pretty sure it was Tampa. I kept getting second place, and then the next year I get, it's me and Kathy LeFrancois, and we're literally on stage at finals. The judges are deliberating for 20 minutes. It is so close. It was the best conditioning of probably my career, and they literally were like, "Oh well, this is her 40th pro show," and and they called me for second, and the whole audience booed. Now I'm not a booer. I'm never about that, but it was memorable because I felt the victory in the moment, and I knew that I had done the work and I had, won.
You're the best you could be.
Yes, I knew it. And they did what they had to do according to the senior, whatever. You know
There
what
can
I
only
mean?
be one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was memorable.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was a victory for me because I won everyone there, and they saw it and they knew
Won the
it,
crowd.
they felt
And
it. Yeah,
and you
Yeah.
felt it.
I felt it.
Yeah.
I
So-
knew it. So that was pretty memorable. I mean, getting 8th in the Olympia is pretty memorable too. Like,
sure.
I got 10th and then I got 8th. I mean, that was pretty great. But that, like we said, not quite getting the win makes you fight even harder, So
That's that right. Johnny.
that's funny, and that just remind me. You're saying getting second. That remind me of me and Darren Charles for the longest. The Toronto Pro, over and over. I think it was 4 different times.
He was the king of the $10,000 shows.
Jesus, this
Yeah.
guy wouldn't. I'm like, dude, go to home. Stay home, please. It was second, 4 times in a row, second to him at Toronto Pro. And then finally in 2005 at the Montreal Pro, they created that, and they stopped the Toronto Pro at that time. And I ended up winning the Montreal Pro, instead of him. And I was like, finally,
Yeah.
I got you, man. Finally,
good, don't
man.
it?
Yeah.
Jesus. Man, it was talking about clawing and starving and cursing and all that stuff, man. It's just, wow. And then like, soon as you win that show, you forget about everything.
Yep.
All the horrible stuff, all the starving, all the crying, everything.
All worth it.
Made it
Gone.
worth it. Yeah.
I mean, just disappears, and you're like, ah, and then you move on. It's like, holy shit, when's the next one?
Yeah.
Then it's all forgotten, and you just move forward and try to find your next
Get
one.
ready for the next one.
Yeah, try to find your next win.
Jose.
Mine's probably pretty easy. After
Nationals,
I
first
competed
place,
26
guy,
plus
second
years.
place.
And,
yeah.
I got him. I got to beat him too.
simple.
I beat him finally.
That'd be too easy.
That's how old I am.
But no, the actual most memorable moment was my very last Olympia, when everyone knew I was done. I had announced that I was retired, and they gave me a moment in the sun, to come out and make a speech and address the fans and everyone. There was a standing ovation in front of 11,000 fans, and
I remember that.
yeah, it was pretty awesome, and it validated all the hard work that I had put in for those 26 years, and it made me feel like it was worth it, man. I did it, as a kid who just started out training for football or to relieve stress, to going on the Olympia stage 10 years in a row and then getting that validation. I didn't have to say anything. I don't ever have to say a thing. That moment meant everything, and I have a picture of it, and it was an amazing moment. I've won shows. I placed 5th that year, but the fans letting me know they appreciated what I did was the single greatest moment of my career.
But that had to be a constant thing. You were one of the
Most
better
winningest.
loved
Yes.
athletes, man.
You were a
for
crowd favorite.
ever.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we loved you.
Yeah,
That's-
everybody
yeah,
loved Jose. Man.
Yep.
How can you not love Jose?
How can you not?
Yeah.
I'm in the audience cheering for his ass too. So
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
how many times I'm been on stage and I hear this fucking guy because you hear his voice. There'll be 10,000 people there. I hear his voice. Fucking Brad.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I got a very unique voice.
Yeah, that
but,
was pretty consistent, man. I got to give it up to you.
Yeah,
Pretty consistent.
in that moment, made it. It let me know that the fans knew what I already knew, and that was huge.
That's cool.
Yep.
I'm gonna get to you in a second.
Okay.
So, Guy.
Well,
2013 in Phoenix, Arizona.
beating you finally?
Hey, how many years did it take?
A few. 3.
3.
Well, I could. Yeah.
2013.
Was he retired?
Yeah, I
by
didn't
then,
start.
or-
I
07.
Yeah, but I didn't start competing as a pro till 2010.
No, but he beat you in an
No.
amateur too.
As an amateur.
Yeah, you beat me once.
Yeah. Oh, were you going to beat me in 08?
Well, I didn't compete. Well, I wait, no. But then 2010 was when I started competing. 2010, 11, 12, 4 years.
Hey,
I still got you, bitch.
well, he is.
I always said this about taking second because we were constantly talking about me taking second to fucking Jose. It's like it's a feather in his cap. But I wasn't ready to turn pro in 2007, and going back to learning from your losses. I've said this many times. You have to learn to be a great loser to be a good champion. You have to learn how to fucking lose because if you don't, you're just never going to really understand the sport of bodybuilding because you're gonna probably take more L's than you are wins. And if you don't know how to pivot and take that mentally, it can absolutely destroy your career. But going off of what Jose said, I would have to say one of the most memorable moments are similar to Jose's because as Jose can attest to, most bodybuilders when they retire, unless they're a Mr. Olympia, Arnold Classic champion, they really don't get their time in the spotlight to say anything and address the crowd. And I didn't have my family here, but I had my extended family here when I retired with Michael, Branch, all my friends and Gasp and Better Body crew in the crowd. And I was walking off stage after my posing routine. I know I was in the first call out, but I knew I didn't win the show. And Bob Ciccarello called me to the side of the stage and allowed me to address the crowd. And it caught me off guard because I didn't expect that to happen. And I was very emotional during that speech. And, we all have our fucking story of how it started and where it went. And I overcame a lot of fucking surgery and setbacks and bad luck and to be a guy that competed and won 7 shows and showed up to the Olympia 7 times, giving that speech and looking into the crowd and seeing everybody stand up on their feet and cheer and then hitting a couple of shots one more time for the crowd. And I didn't even know, but they were lighting up the pyrotechnics in the background and, making all these fucking fireworks. I think when you see that the fans and the crowd are behind you as much as that, the only closest other memory to that was another show that I didn't win was in 2014, New York Pro. I took second to Aaron Clark. But when I came out to my posing routine and started hitting shots, it was, I don't know if you definitely remember, but when the New York Pro was in Tribeca,
Yep,
it was
so much better there.
the art center.
I loved it there.
With the stadium and seating. When I got midway through my routine and I turned around and I hit a back double bicep, I got goosebumps. I remember the fucking crowd just exploding and going absolutely ballistic. And you watch so many guys do their posing routine and you hear crickets. And it's like one of the most scariest things as a bodybuilder is to go on stage and hear nothing. And when that crowd went nuts in 2014, that was like, holy shit, this is fucking insane. Like to have that many people support you in one moment when you're the only guy on stage is pretty fucking cool. Because I just don't think in any sport, not a lot of people have those moments. And I think to have a moment like that where everybody in that crowd is fucking cheering for you is a defining moment in anybody's career.
Well, that was the I have arrived moment.
Yes.
Yeah. They were like,
Yep.
he's done.
Get off stage, you fucking idiot.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
What about you, B?
Ah, fuck, man. I've been sitting there thinking, listening to all y'all. I don't know, man. I had so many highs and lows. I had some high highs and some low lows. It was a hell of a ride. It's like a roller coaster. I was sitting there debating what was my most memorable moment.
When you met me in 2011?
That was a low low.
Without hesitation. That just came out like smooth.
Perfect.
Like,
That was down here.
I was like, what's this fucking kid want? God, and he started talking about hunting. I was like, all right, maybe he's all right.
I had to play my cards right back then.
Makes the rest feel like we have a lot of luck when we're with you.
You realize how good you really have it.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know, man. I had a lot of high highs. You know, I mean, winning the nationals, I won my weight class. My man down here fucking won the overall, and rightfully so. But that was a high because now I got to live my dream. And at the time I was 18 years old, that's what I wanted to do, be a pro bodybuilder. Was that my highest high? Probably not. I think the 2012 Arnold, I had tore my quad off the bone 6 months earlier, and pretty much that ended your career, right? I mean, no one had ever come back successfully from it. And, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, I just got second at Olympia, won the Arnold, and this is how it's going to end. And I'm sitting there, I'm questioning myself. I'm like, can I overcome this shit? And everybody's writing my obituary. It's over, you know?
Yeah.
And I sat there and I got mad, and imagine that. And I had a couple days post surgery, I showed up at the gym, and Johnny goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm fucking getting ready for the Arnold. And I'm on crutches and
It's
shit.
like,
Got
what
a
the fuck
cast
are you
on.
doing here, man?
And man, we're like, you know, at this point, we're like 3 weeks from Olympia, and I'm in shape, you know, because I'm 3 weeks from Olympia.
Yep.
I just had surgery though, and so I went through hell for 6 months, and you know, I got to that show, and I wasn't until maybe 30 days out. I knew I was going to be able to compete. I didn't know if I was going to compete successfully, and I put so much pressure on myself, and rightfully so, because I was like, if I can't win this again, then I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, if I get third, I'm done. You know, because it's going to be because of that. Because I knew my conditioning was going to be spot on. And so I'm like, if I can't pull this off, then I'm done.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. You know, I can continue to compete, yeah, but I will never be where I was. And so winning that competition, and I won that. I won the most muscular, best pose. I won everything. And the crowd got behind me. And I remember I walked out on stage and I stuck my leg out there. I shook at everybody and slapped it, and just looked at everybody. And I was LL Cool J, said, "Don't call it a comeback." And I slapped my leg and fucking stuck out there and flexed it, and everybody went crazy. I'm like, "Yeah, motherfuckers." And you know, after the prejudging, I was like, "All right, I'm in the driver's seat to this thing." And then somehow, by the grace of God, I managed to pull it off and win. And sometimes the word, number one, the amount of confidence I had, because what I went through for 6 months trying to overcome that was the hardest physically thing I'd ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of that's because of this man down here at the table, you know, trained with me every single day for that period of time. And I just wasn't going to give up. I didn't give a fuck how bad it hurt. I didn't give a fuck what I had to do. I was going to make it happen. And I wasn't going to give up my dream.
Yeah.
You know, and I told myself every day, I was like, when I retire, it's going to be, when I say I want to retire, it's going to be on my terms. Nothing or nobody's going to tell me I'm done. And so sometimes what it taught me was sometimes the worst things that happen to you in life turn out to be the biggest blessings. Looking back on it, I wouldn't trade it for nothing, because overcoming that gave me the self-confidence. I'm like, I can handle anything that comes my way in life, and I can overcome it. If you can take the hits and you can take the pain and put the work in, you can overcome anything you want to overcome.
Yeah.
And it comes your way. And so, you know, it turned out exactly how I wanted it, and I was able to succeed, and my career went on for several more years.
That's a big break.
Was it hard to walk away
Big
from?
breakthrough.
Not all.
I remember when you told me you were done. We were sitting at breakfast at the
Next morning.
at the table.
I went to the fast forward to 2016, and my body changed, man. I was 41, and I didn't know I was going to retire. You know, I just had a great Olympia, and got second at the Arnold the year before, and I thought I should have won. Me and Dexter the year before.
Dexter thought you should have won too.
Yeah, Dexter told me, he goes, night before I went out, he goes, man, you got this one. And I'm thinking, yeah, I do. And I thought I had it up until the fucking moment I didn't. But that's bodybuilding. That shit happens. You look great too, and you know that's bodybuilding. And so that last show, I showed up, and I always said, if these young guys ever pass me up, then it's time. And you know, because for 10 years I stayed on top.
Yeah.
And it was the same guys up there. You know, we just went back and forth. And a couple of young guys slipped past me. I got fifth. And I was like, you know, that was like the worst place I ever got at the Arnold. And I got to my room that night, and I told Trish, I said, I'm done. She goes, you sure? I go, I'm done. And I was in a good spot, and I was ready. And honestly, I was tired.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for 15 years as a pro, and, you know, 8-9 years before that as an amateur. I was ready. I was ready to go on the next chapter of my life, and you know, I was set up in a spot where my lifestyle didn't change, and I was ready. And so I went downstairs, and Mel, we're meeting him downstairs in the lobby in the bar, and he walks up to me. He goes, hey man, and I knew he was gonna tell me something, and I said, bro, I'm done. He goes, thank God. I go, why is that? He goes, because, you know, they told me to come talk to you, and I said, hey, you need to hang it up. And I'm like, well, I'm done. And
you passed that torch on to me, because Branch called me one day after in 2020.
After Tampa.
Huh? Yeah, after
Tampa.
Tampa. He called me. He's like, hey man, I already know what you're gonna say. He goes,
That's a hard call to make, my man.
I know.
Yeah.
I went to dinner with them the night before, and they're like, yo man, you gotta talk to your boy. They go, it's over. And I'm like, why don't y'all fucking call him? And so I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, all right, I'm sitting there. That's one of them calls. It's one of the worst calls I've ever had to make. I'm like putting it off. So I'm like, I know my boys like, man, fuck that shit, man. I know what it's gonna be. And I'm like,
I took it well,
you took it way better than I expected. And
because I'm not delusional.
yeah, and as an athlete, you have a finite period of time. If you can make it to the top, that you can stay there.
Yeah.
And age gets us all, my man.
Father Time's a bitch, bro.
If injury doesn't get you first, and it happens to all of us.
Yep.
And you had a great run. You won a bunch of shows.
Yep.
Had a great career. And that's what I told you. I said, you're going to do better after you retire than you actually did as a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And you have.
One of the best things, I don't know, I'm sure most of you guys feel this way, but one of the best things that came out of bodybuilding, where I made some of the best friendships I've ever had in mine. So, I mean, since the day I met Branch in 2011, I mean, he's one of my best friends. I mean, we talk all the time. I mean, if you don't know Branch, you turn around and people go, oh, Branch don't say that much. And I'm like, Branch calls me, we're on the phone for a minimum an hour. So I don't know who you're talking to, you know, but between Branch and Jose and, you know, rest in peace, you know, Sean Roden, I made some of the best friends and best connections, and, you know, being a part of Gasp and building, you know, the camaraderie with the team, and, you know, friendship with Michael. It's just the friends that I have in bodybuilding is really what keeps me still in bodybuilding to this day. Because you take away the friends, who knows if I still be doing all this shit that I'm doing now.
You know, when I competed, I wasn't very social. I didn't talk to the other guys, you know. And I mean, backstage, I think the only person I talked to was Johnnie, you know. And I didn't want to talk to him. I ain't there to talk to him. I ain't there to be fucking friends with him. I'm there to win. You know, I'm looking at these dudes. They're trying to take shit off my plate.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't want to be friends with you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm there to whoop your ass and fucking go on to the next one. And I'm not there to be social. And you know, and that's another thing too. Like I told Johnnie, I said, I'm done. And he said, man, you sure? I'm like, yeah. And like I told Johnnie, I was like, man, I was tired. And honestly, I was tired of being angry.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, and it's just, I'm not, you know, I walk in the gym and I could flip the switch and I fucking became somebody else. And it took me a while to come down off that every day, you know, and I was just tired of it, you know, and if I don't talk to you, it's because I don't fucking like you. So, you know, and so, you know, for me, I was ready. I was just ready for And that's all I was 41 years old, and all I knew and all I'd done was bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I had businesses and I did my, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I was just ready to close that chapter and open a new chapter and move on. And so I never looked back. People all the time say, "Man, did you ever miss it?" I'm like, no.
And I never thought I'd say that either.
I don't miss it. I think because when I was 18 years old, I planned out my entire career at 18. I won the Teenage Nationals, and at the time, I was the first person in Dallas Fort Worth to win a national show. Granted, it was a teenage show, but Ronnie hadn't done his thing yet, and I remember driving to Metroflex, and I planned out my entire career how I was going to do it. I had short-term, medium-term, long-term goals, and short-term goals are easy. They're easy things. They keep you motivated, keep you going. Medium-term goals are bigger goals, and then of course the long-term goal was win the Arnold and Olympia, and I checked off every box on my list except for the top one, and I came within a heartbeat of that, and so when I was done, you look back on your career and you say, okay, what could I have done different? Could I have trained differently? Could I have eaten better? What could I have done? Yeah. And honestly, I don't think I could have done anything different than I did. Yeah. I had a bunch of injuries, but they were all outside the gym. There were freak deals that happened that you can't control. And, so I had no regrets. I don't think I could have done anything different. And, so I was good with it. I still am. That being said, it was a ride in my life, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Yep. Now, would I want to do it over again? No. But that's the best 15 years of my life. Yep. So
done and seen things that people would give their legs up for.
I'm saying, and I got to see the world
for free.
Yeah, and all 50 states. I think
getting paid
60 something.
Free.
Yeah. Even better. Yeah.
60 plus countries. And all because of bodybuilding. Yeah. And from a country boy from West Texas, you have a very narrow point of view of the world and life, and you get out and see the world, your opinion and point of view changes. It opens your eyes to a lot of things, and you see different people, different cultures. I made friends all over the world that I still have, and bodybuilding, everything I have in my life, I said it before, I owe directly or indirectly to bodybuilding, and it changed the person I was for the better. Yeah. So,
amen.
Yes.
I want to ask you, what was your most memorable moment with your athletes?
In bodybuilding,
with your athletes.
I mean, there is so many moments over, it's more than 35 years of doing this. And, kind of like allowing us to do our athlete thing, allowing us to travel the world, and be able to uphold that platform and do what we love, and for me to live through you guys, because I realized when I was 27 that my goal was to be on that Olympia stage, but I realized I was a little bit late to the party. I didn't grow up in exactly the right environment for making it happen in the way I wanted, as quickly as I wanted.
Sweden in the 1980s and 90s was not the best place for bodybuilding.
No, it was a little bit isolated from that perspective, at least for me. So for me, it was like living through you guys. And
what's that one moment though that kind of stands out above all the other ones?
Probably being behind the stage, a couple of times when you're taking the Arnold title, and us going to Australia, and kind of like taking the Arnold title again, and then travel around in Australia, New Zealand, and do our thing, and hunt, and
that's a good trip.
Yeah, good memories for that. But I would like to say that my strongest moment was kind of like to come to the US, maybe 2006, 7, 8, and establishing our presence in the US for real. For me, for real in the US, 2008, and then build up. Like a whole team, and do our thing at Olympia and Arnold, and feeling like, okay, we got it and we're doing it, and being on a high horse, taking care of that, and then 2017, when the whole industry was changing, how the ego and everything get knocked down, and I found myself without relevance in the US. The risk of losing the whole platform that we had together, and say like, okay, maybe this doesn't work and I need to move home to Sweden or
Big risk, big reward.
and creep under like a rock and stay there.
Yeah.
And then decided to step down from my big horse, and I decided to be the horse. And that was like 2017. And then build back the relevance and build back the emotional success that we have today. That is my comeback, and that is for us to enjoy and pass on to future generations. And I feel like that learning lesson so important, and that downfall becomes my biggest assets for what we're doing today. And at the time when it was happening, I wouldn't wish this my thoughts upon my worst enemy, but actually in retrospect it becomes my biggest fuel, motivation, inspiration for the future. So I would say, like, don't be afraid of these failures or taking risk in general. So it's like take risk, fail, and then
learn from it and keep going,
and come back stronger and use it as fuel. But don't turn it into negative energy. Don't turn it into I need to make my circle small, so I can trust my surrounding and that type of bullshit. This still is the same thing, that you need to build your circles bigger, because what you guys been talking about today is friendship, relationships. You're pushing hard on that. Like all the stuff that we have experienced throughout these 30, 40 years of knowledge here or experience. That tells us that the memories from what we're doing together is much more important than anything else.
I think it's for me, like to circle back on what you said, like growing up and when magazines were still big, and MD and Flex magazine, I remember seeing all the Gasp ads and watching all the videos with Branch and Johnnie, and competing with Jose and being a fan of Jose and seeing Jose in the magazines. And I remember one day flipping through the magazines, and I'm looking at a spread of Johnnie and Branch, and I'm like, damn, like these are my boys now. Like these were just guys that I looked up to, and like I was inspired to be like, and like I call them on the phone and I could talk to them now, and like I'm a part of Gasp. And I like just remember back in the day the nostalgia of seeing that stuff in the magazines. And it's like, well, I don't need the magazines, to know who these guys are, because they're in my phone, and I talk to them and I have relationships with them. And I remember where I was when I had that like full circle moment. I was like, man, like I remember being a kid looking at these guys, wanting to be like them, and now like they're a part of my small circle. That's what bodybuilding really meant to me, and what kind of solidified my relationships in the sport.
Yeah, you say small circle, but whatever you're describing here happens because you're trying to make a bigger circle.
Well, trying to make my smaller circle bigger with the right people.
Yeah. But I think like you have to take risk in order to create relationships. You have to do stuff, you have to travel, you have to expose yourself for reaction or failures or whatever it is, and you need to come back stronger from it. So
that hunting trip we went to New Zealand, to this day, the happiest and most excited I've ever seen this man.
When he killed this
big stag in New Zealand. He got so excited. I never had seen him get that excited and happy. And that was worth me shooting 10. I was like, that was fucking cool. He got so excited, then he smashed this thing, and then went on and got a couple other animals and made some great shots.
What was her name?
And
shut up.
But that was worth the whole trip. From that whole trip, that was the highlight of my whole trip. So
and I also remember when we talked on the plane down to Australia, and I said to Branch that or I think it was after Arnold actually, on the way to New Zealand when we were sitting on the plane. It's a long ass flight actually, longer than I thought.
Yeah, you think New Zealand's right there, folks. Like 6 hours.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm telling Branch that he's fresh of his Arnold win, and I tell him that that when you're retired, you're gonna be worth more. We're going to do more stuff. You're going to be worth more for me retired than you are competing. And he's like, bullshit.
I did. That's what I said. I go, that's
bullshit. How you think. Yeah. I know we think that way. I know.
And so, mind you, we talked about this for like 6 hours. And he's sitting there and he's like trying to, and I'm like, I ain't having it. I'm just like, nah, that's bullshit. You know what you're talking about. So now I'm more involved than ever.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's like a message to everybody that's listening also, that it's not always what you think you are chasing that is the goal. So thinking about when you're young, you think about money, or you look life out of a straw. So, but in the end, it is the memories and the relationships and actually doing stuff. So prioritize doing stuff, taking risk, and see the world, because you learn a lot when you see different cultures, and then you can see the stuff that bonds us more than keeps us, that makes us different. Yeah,
the two people that I had a similar conversation with towards the end of my career were Branch and Cutler. They both said, "Bro, you're gonna be so much better off after you retire." And I was like, fucking shut up, man. I was like, I didn't win an Arnold or an Olympia. Like, my name's not etched in that stone like the way you guys are. But it turned out they were fucking bang on the money with that.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding's got highs and lows. We've all had high highs and we've had low lows. So I just asked you what your most memorable moment was. So what's your, I'm going to say, least memorable, worst moment of your career? I'm gonna start with Guy here.
They're all looking at me. You first.
Oh man, my worst memory.
How
I'll tell. It's simple.
Oh yeah, I hope, because this can take a long time.
No, this is simple. This is simple.
You started at the wrong end.
There is. I don't care what anybody says. You can say. I know Branch will say taking second at the Olympia was,
why you answer my shit?
No, I'm just listen, because I know you. One of the hardest things for me was going to the Olympia with having family there, my parents coming out, and not taking top 6 and doing a posing routine and having to walk out stage to 10, 15,000 people, hitting a shot and waving and being like, yeah, I didn't make it this year. I got to go backstage. I'm done. My night show's over. To me, that was one of the, I remember looking down in the crowd, knowing where my parents were, and going, my parents just paid all this fucking money, all this time to come out here, and I'm hitting one shot at night and fucking going home. That was some of the hardest times doing that. It really is a gut punch when you have to do that, and people don't know what that's like until they've been there, and that's one of the worst feelings in the world.
Yeah.
And I don't think you three have ever had to do that, or you 4.
What?
1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think they ever had to do that.
Come out and wave?
Yeah, and just fucking call it a day. You were at the Olympia 10 times. You're in the first call out. Always did your routine. Branch was always up there with everybody.
Oh, you mean? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the hardest things I had to do as a competitor.
Tina, what you got? Go ahead, Michael.
No, but I was just meaning that it's all about the perspective in retrospect. Again, like at that moment it was that.
Yes.
But then, most of that stuff pales over time in, a relationship to all the, the things you have experienced and everything you're doing and still doing, and maybe being more relevant than ever in the industry,
And I did have to do that.
Oh, you did?
In 2020. I had retired in 2017, and then we did the Iron World Tour with Gasp over in China. And then I decided, I got the bug and decided I want to compete again. And I did in 2020. and I didn't make the top 10 to guest pose. Or
That was after you
top
came
10
back.
to pose,
Finals, yeah.
but they let me guest pose.
Yeah.
Robin Chain came in the back and said, "Hey, we want you to pose, the final time, your final time here at the Olympia, and all that kind of stuff." So it was kind of cool. And I refused it at first, but then it was like, dude, just
Suck it up.
do it.
Yeah.
And-
Because you would have regretted it if you didn't do it.
Yeah, and I did, and it was a cool moment. So it was the worst and a cool moment at the same time.
Jose.
What was the question?
But that wasn't my
Sure.
worst. I was just letting I know. I didn't answer yet. I still got an answer for that.
Okay. Jose, what was your lowest moment?
My lowest moment
As a pro.
was as a pro.
Well, you can answer. You know what? Just in your bodybuilding career.
My
However you want to
lowest
answer it.
moment was winning 2007 Nationals. They came out with the 210 division. I decided I would take my pro card, and 2 weeks later, I broke my leg in a massive, brutal injury where I had screws put in. I was immobilized for 4 months, put on 90 pounds, and I'm like, I'm never competing again. And I was someone that made a living off my body, whether it be training people, being an example for my clients. And not only that, I just turned pro and I was hoping to be able to compete as a pro. And I went into, that was the longest, worst
That would have been hard.
moment. It was like a 6-month depression of just, I became fat. I grew my hair out. I was gross. And then slowly,
And then you cut it before you came here.
yes, exactly. And now I'm still fat. But no, I was like 266 pounds.
At 5'1".
Yeah, 5'3", not much of a difference. And
Yeah, we're about the same height.
yeah, and it was horrific. Like, I didn't know what I was gonna do with the rest of my life. I was 32 years old, and that was the only year in my entire career that I took off, 2008, where I didn't compete. And then I finally started feeling better and came back.
Jumped on the gas.
Yeah. Well, not right away, but I did the New York Pro. I placed like 7th or 8th. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, all right, if I'm going to play by the rules, I'm going to play.
Play by the big boy rules.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then,
He came back to Dallas a couple weeks later.
yeah,
And, dude, because I was at the show in New York when you competed.
yeah.
And when you came back to Dallas, you must have gained 20 pounds of stage weight.
Yeah, I was 184 to 202.
It was fucking the most crazy
And,
transformation I've seen.
Less than 2 months. And then a month later, I should have won the Atlantic City Pro. That was the one you were talking about earlier.
Flex Lewis one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say I should have won. I think I could have won. Yeah, that was. But again, like you said earlier, our lowest moments bring out the best in us.
100%.
And
You find out who you are.
exactly. And I'm either going to become a fat fuck for the rest of my life, or I'm going to dig myself out of this hole and do something with
You
it.
man up and overcome it.
That was it.
So
So from that moment forward, I was first call out in the Olympia 10 years in a row from a moment that could have ended it all. That was the moment, but it wasn't during my pro career.
Yeah. Well, it was because you
Like, yeah,
turned pro.
you're right.
You were pro.
Yeah.
You were pro.
Yeah, good
You had
point.
step on the stage yet, but you were still.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
a pro.
Yeah.
Once you win, you're a pro. You're a pro.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Johnny.
I got 2, but I'll make them short. The first one is in Hartford, Connecticut, when I end up in the hospital for 3 days. And the first, after the first night, that morning, I remember the doctor walking into the room. Yeah, I guess he thought I was asleep, but I ended up opening my eyes, and it like shocked him. And he looked at me, and he said, "Sir, you should have been dead hours ago. Your heart should have stopped hours ago.
From what?
My potassium
Oh,
level
shit.
was spiked." So I had paid, a guru to get me through a show.
Was that
and I ended up
2010?
in the hospital for 3 days
What year?
in Hartford. I can't remember what year it was.
Was it for the Europa?
Hartford, Europa.
Hartford,
Yeah,
Europa.
yeah.
That was
I
my pro
guess.
debut.
That was 2010.
Yeah.
And then the second one was, remember we went to Poland and competed in Kevin Lavrone's
Oh,
show?
yeah. Uh-huh.
And I don't think you even know. 5 months before that, I was in the hospital with wires connected from my feet damn near to my head.
How did I not know that? We trained together.
I know.
That's what I was
know.
thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, back then, motherfucker, I'd be so goddamn sore. And I'd go to the gym. Are you sore? He's like, nope. I'm like, me neither. I get out of the mornings like the evolution of man, like the first 20 steps. Like, fuck, man. Fuck. Get up and slowly you can stand up and move around. And I'm like, motherfucker, I go to the gym in 2 hours. And get to the gym, you sore? Nope. I'm like, motherfucker, I ain't sore either.
Remember that? That's when they found that spot
Yeah.
in my the mass in my left lung. I got a centimeter mass in my left lung. So, yep. That's when they found all that, and I had to go through all these tests. And
You want a hit of this?
when I got home, I was like, well, I got 5 weeks before the show. Let's see what happens.
That was my next to last show. I did that.
That's the one we walked through.
Yep.
And we were walking together, and I was like, man, I'm going to miss this.
We're walking to the show, and there's like this massive line of people, right? And we're walking in the hall. They're all queued up to, get in the show. And like, oh shit, everybody's taking pictures. That's Branch and Johnny, Branch Johnny. And I'm just like looking straight ahead. And Johnny's like, yo, man, you're going to miss this one day. I go, man, fuck that. And so I'm just focused on the show, right? And he's like, nah, man, you're going to miss this shit one day. And I'm like, man, we've been doing this forever. And anyway, I retired, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. That shit was, I never could take it in and appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm
Ever.
like, yeah, that was cool. So, yeah, for sure. You're right about that.
That's
Tina?
a good thing.
I was the same way. I never could appreciate it.
I never did.
I couldn't look at my pictures for years. I was just like, I can't look at it. I'm just thinking about the next thing I need to do. It's not there yet. That's all I could think about. I'm not there. Not there. I don't know what that, But so I have two moments that, were pretty low. So from the moment that I started competing in 2004, I won my first show, went to a national qualifier, won first overall, went to nationals, went to USA's, and USA's, and then nationals, and then I did nationals the next year. So I always got first or second, like I always got, up. And this year in Miami nationals, I got 5th place. It was the worst. I was so down on myself. It was not my best. I don't remember the prep. I don't remember my mindset. I don't remember, but it was not my best. And I was like, I'm never showing up like that again.
Yeah.
I
had
never
shows like
did.
that, yeah.
I never did.
That's why you never showed up like that again, because you never want to feel like that again.
Exactly.
Yep.
And the very next year I won.
Yep.
That's when I won my class.
Yes,
and that was in Dallas. And I had to lose 9 pounds of muscles to get ready for that show because I was middleweight.
It was worth it, though.
But it was worth it. I did the right thing because I knew I was in the right category to do what I needed to do to be competitive.
Yep.
It sucked. I was very acidic. My body, when you're losing muscle, it's awful. 9 pounds. But I did it. And then after that, I turned pro in 2007. Then I turned around, did the New York Pro May in 2008. And that was great. But then the moment after that, 2011, I did the Olympia. I was getting to the point where I was about to switch coaches. I was a little unhappy because I wasn't placing the way I really. That was my coach from the beginning, brought me all the way from 0 to 100, right? But there were some discrepancies. In the same month, in that October after that Olympia, I broke up with my current, that at that time, fiance, and then also my coach. Like in the same month, went right to the next coach and started immediately training for the Arnold.
Jesus.
Immediately. I was like...
You need a distraction and a half. You're using it as a distraction and a half.
Man. So, you already see it. Like, just went straight in. I was like, I'm good. We going. And I get there and I'm like cheating on my diet. I'm not understanding. I get through it. I don't do very well. I'm with a new coach. trying different things. And after that, it was like, okay, we're gonna get ready for Chicago Pro. We're gonna do it. And the new coach was like, sweetie, listen, I think you need to take a year off.
Help me out.
You have not processed what you've gone through. You just broke up with 2 big relationships, and I don't think you've dealt with this, because I couldn't understand. I really could not understand, why am I eating? I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So I took off that year, and that was a smart thing to do. But it was a very good learning experience. But also, that was the year I did the Xfinity national commercial as well. And I was like 170 something. I did not look good, in my opinion. But that commercial was like all over the world. And I was like, what? But they tried to make me look. I was big, but I was not.
That big, right?
But they had
have to be bodybuilding big. You have to be bigger than the average person.
Man, they had to build a platform and make my boobs bigger and it was just crazy experience. But it was so many good and bad things all wrapped into the lessons. Like, those were some low points. I had to deal with some stuff, but I had to deal with it. And I mean, I'm grateful for that, but those were some low points. Like, I could not control myself. And then I had to figure out what that behavior was coming from.
Well, that's personal issues are always rough.
A bitch.
Yeah, that's a bitch, man. Some of the hardest things that will come. My lowest point obviously was, as my man over here said, was 2009 Olympia. And I've said it many times before, but second place in Olympia is the worst place in all of bodybuilding. People, that's awesome. I'm like, the fuck it is. And, I went back to my room that night. I didn't know if I wanted to cry or punch the wall. I ended up punching a hole in the wall. And, because you're a heartbeat away from being the champ, right? Being the king. And you work your entire life to get to that point. And it's just like, you can taste it, right? And it don't happen. And, me being me, I just got mad, stayed mad, came back and trained harder. I got third the next year, and third is way better than second. And it is what it is. It makes you who you are. I went on and had a lot of good victories and a lot of high points after that. But that's what I've talked to other guys, and they said the same thing. It's the worst spot in all of bodybuilding. It really is, and because you're so close to the ultimate goal. Every kid who's ever bodybuilded stepped on a stage. That's your dream, right? Be the champ. And and you get that close, and you can taste it, and then you go back and okay, fuck, what could I have done different? What nothing I could do different. And it is what it is. So,
and a sense if you can get back there again.
Mm-hmm. So,
you know what I mean? If you got the capacity mentally and physically to get back there. So, because it's a feat, so to say the least.
That was it. I can't think of anything else that actually, I had a lot of low. I had some other lows, but nothing. That was the lowest.
Yeah.
So, because it's just like, what do you do? You're frustrated, you're mad, and people are like, oh, that's great. I'm like, no, you have no idea. So, but that was it. So, I know what you're gonna say. 2017.
Yeah, 17.
You said it before.
Yeah, it's I usually talk about that as a pivotal moment where where I feel like you have to pivot and you have to come back. And I had to eat so much humble pie, it was ridiculous. And but it was so healthy in retrospect. And even to this day, it feels like I'm just getting started. And so I feel like it's the first day on this journey, together with you guys here today. So I'm like, I'm super excited about tomorrow and everything that we are doing together, with you guys and, all the other people in our team, in our family, around the world. 300 athletes, 23,000 ambassadors, and a huge community that, that I feel like we're just building stronger and stronger across the world. So, and I still feel after maybe 35 years or something like that we just got started. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's a very nice feeling to have this emotional success in what we're doing, and I just want to have more of it, and I want to build it together with you guys and everybody out there. Make sure that we strengthen the the bonds and make our circles bigger and better, because the feeling that I had 17, I would never ever want to have that back. That's haunting me every day. Every day I wake up, I think about the 17, and I don't want to be back in that position again, to have no relevance, no reason to exist, nobody asking for you, nobody really cares, what is happening.
Yeah.
So
So, pivoting to the conversation here, how do you guys feel about social media? We've all been around for a minute. I think all of us competed before social media was dominant. Now social media is the king. So how do you think it's changed the sport? You think it's changed the sport for better or for worse? You think there's more or less opportunities than there used to be? How do you feel about that?
I mean, for me, I think there's a difference, and me and you've talked about this many times. I think there's guys that bodybuild because they love to train, and I think there's guys that train to be a bodybuilder. And I feel like social media made a lot of competitors fall in love with bodybuilding over training. And for me, I think a big reason why, although being retired, I don't feel much different besides the fact that I don't step on stages, because I still, it's different to an extent, but I still am able to train every day. And that's what I always loved. I've been training since I was, fucking 12 years old. So for me, I never really retired because I'm still doing what I love. I still go to the gym every day. I still bust my ass intense as hard as I can. And I feel like a lot of this social media era is built on self-entitlement and, people putting themselves on a pedestal that they don't deserve to be on. And I think if a lot of people trained without their phones, without worrying about who's watching, I think we would see a lot better physiques, and I think the sport would be in a lot better spot. But on the latter side of things, you can also make the argument that social media has also catapulted a lot of our careers and helped us grow who we are in the eyes of the fans. But as far as a sport and a person, I feel like more people need to fall in love with the process of actually working out and training over filming and being a social media celebrity.
I think I can speak for all of us. We all were bodybuilders because we love to train.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the reason the guys look different today than every generation learned from the generation before them. Right. The guys in the 80s learned from the guys in the 70s. The guys in the 90s learned from the guys in the 80s. We learned from the guys in the 90s. And I think now this generation, they knew who we are and give us respect, but they didn't learn from us per se. They learned from social media.
Yep.
And that's the difference, I think. And I think you have there's good information out there and there's bad information.
Yep.
And I think everybody's a guru. We talked about this in Vegas, Some of these guys are coaches and they look like shit.
My ball sack.
Yeah, like I said, they look like my ball sack. Why are you gonna take advice from this dude? He don't look good. Never did. And I think social media changed everything. It changed the business, how businesses market themselves. It changed bodybuilders, how they market themselves. And the problem with bodybuilders and athletes in general, most are not good at self-promotion. And back in the day, the companies did that for you.
You have to learn how to do it.
And now they got to take the reins and do it themselves.
Yep.
And some guys are good at it, and most aren't.
Yep.
And it just, as far as the training goes, like I said, I was a bodybuilder because I love to train.
Yep.
Some people were trained because they're bodybuilders. There's a big difference.
Yep.
And so I think today you can't let these guys. There's exceptions. There's always guys like Hollinshead.
Yes.
He's an animal, dude. That dude trains. He's a dinosaur.
Yep.
That's what I call him.
Yep.
He's a throwback to another era. But when you got a tripod and a camera, and after you had to move it and change it, how the fuck are you going to keep your intensity up?
Can't.
When you worry about that shit. I used to throw the motherfuckers out in the parking lot. I'm like, get that fucking shit out of here, man. And you asked Johnnie, I was like a fucking tyrant, man. I'm like, you motherfuckers try to pull a cell phone out while we're doing our set. I'm like, get that shit out of here. Leave it in the car. Stupid motherfucker in here. And but it's a necessary evil. And I bang on these guys for it, but they gotta do it, man.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, but I think for me, it's I think the 17 period in my life taught me that to instead of chasing social media. Because this was in the change between the old with the magazines and the distributors, and and social media taking over, uh, it is actually to follow your philosophy, whatever it is, training, living life and everything, and don't let social media destroy the philosophy that you have, the reason that you have to work out and do your thing. And I think as soon as you adapt too much to the social media, then you kind of like you get into the bad part of social media.
I agree.
So that's what I have to do, and we have to do, is to be kind of like making sure that we're not corporate,
Yep.
we're not social media, we are real, and we create real relationships and real with the help of social media today, but not in that way.
Johnny's polishing off the bottle over there.
Share.
We're coming to the end of this podcast quick.
That's what we think of social media over here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna agree to that.
Well, guys, man, thank all of you for coming out and being part of another Gasp Better Bodies podcast. We covered a lot of topics, and we're going to do this again in Vegas.
Iron World Podcast.
Our World Podcast, baby. We'll be in Vegas and then rolling on to the Olympia and doing it possibly at the Arnold too.
Yeah.
So
We got the whiskey, cigars, and bodybuilding talks as always.
Yep.
There's always an opportunity to be, joining the team here and
Growing the community.
Yeah, and it's way easier than people understand. The doors are, open to our community, and you just need to step in and understand.
Make a place at the table.
Yeah, exactly, and don't be afraid of going through the door.
Yep.
So I think there is a lot of imaginary doors that we put up for ourselves that makes us not, seek contact or joining in because we think it's it's far away or it's abstract or whatever it is. But make sure that you take away the abstract and you make it real. So if you can dream it, you can do it. So. That's my
couple things. September 20th and 21st, we're going to be in Stockholm and Södertälje, suburb of Stockholm there, with the Gas Better Bodies competitions. We have a regional qualifier Saturday on the 20th. 21st, we have a pro qualifier. We'll be there. Johnny will be there. I'll be there. Michael will be there. And great weekend if you can make it out there. Also on the 19th, we'll be at Stark Gym doing a meetup there and a seminar with some of the top pros in the industry. So you don't want to miss that if you can make it out to Stockholm.
Yep.
If you haven't been, it's a beautiful city. Plan a vacation. Come join us.
Yeah.
After that, the circus moves on to Vegas. We'll be at the Mr. Olympia. We'll have a booth there, so hope to see you there at the Mr. Olympia, guys. So until then, on behalf of Gas Better Bodies, see you next time.
Assalamu alaikum.
That was the best 4-hour podcast. 4 hours.
8.5 hours straight marathon.
Wow.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think that can be
right.
edited down.
Chop it down.
There's a bit, yeah.